After 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days finally introduces Sheena's parents, I'm as shocked as Forrest. Warning. The following contains spoilers for the 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days episode, brace for impact. Stream the episode with an HBO Max subscription and read at your own risk. 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days has built up to Forrest meeting Sheena's parents all season, and I've been eagerly awaiting the showdown. He's had this vision of telling them off and rescuing his fiancée from their financially abusive grasp, but it doesn't seem like we're going to see that happen due to a surprising reveal. Forrest was shocked to see that Sheena's parents weren't poor at all, as they arrived at a nice estate. My jaw was on the floor as well, and I have to hand it to 90 Day Fiancé for showing me what may be the best reality television twist I've seen on the 2026 TV schedule so far. Forrest and Sheena arrived at her parents' home, and I'm glad 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days camera crew had the sense to cut to his face. I was shocked to see them walking up to a situation that looked more like something I'd see on the White Lotus than I'd ever see on 90 Day Fiancé. It wasn't quite a 5-star resort, but I imagine tourists spend a pretty penny to stay at her family's bed and breakfast. With her son, is going to get to the bottom of it when she arrives in the next episode. I have a theory about why Sheena lied that would make sense. After the shock wore off about Sheena's family being pretty well off, I came up with a theory. I thought back to Sheena going after Forrest for not having a job, and how she needed him to have a plan to provide for her. She was never worried about him having money. She was worried about him taking her family's money. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that Sheena's family is fairly well off. The bed and breakfast looks nicer than what we've seen of Forrest's home, and her father and sister were pretty well dressed. Was Sheena worried that Forrest would see her wealth and think he didn't have to provide for her? 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days continues on TLC on Sundays at 8 p.m. ET. I can't wait to hear what Sheena's excuses for telling this lie, and wonder if my theory about her being wealthier than she led on will end up being true. Warning. The following contains spoilers from the 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days episode, prepare for takeoff. Stream the episode with an HBO Max subscription, and read at your own risk. The drama is heating up in 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days, and I'm so glad this season will bleed into the 2026 TV schedule. We're already getting some major drama from couples, but surprisingly, the latest episode's biggest headline wasn't from any of the duos I was most excited about, but rather Rick and Trisha. Rick Van Vactor wasn't on my radar at the start of this season of the 90 Day Fiancé spin-off, as his story with Trisha from Madagascar seemed like the standard older male seeking out a younger woman in another country setup. Unfortunately for the couple, their story took a dramatic twist when Rick talked about how his potential fiancée was unreachable for 5 days, and why he wanted to know what she was up to. Rick wanted to know why Trisha didn't answer his calls for 5 days, and why she even went so far as to actively decline when he rang. She explained that during that time, her ex-boyfriend was robbed and blamed her, suspecting her to be an accomplice involved in the crime. Additionally, she claimed her brother hit another person with his scooter, and that she and her family were busy providing for the injured man and making amends with the police to prevent charges being brought against her sibling. Yikes. Readers might wonder, much like I did, why all that would have prevented her from answering the phone to talk to someone completely uninvolved. Rick is also included in that list, but Trisha explained that if she opened up about it out of the blue, he'd think she was making the story up to get money out of him. He accepted that response, though I felt it still didn't make that much sense. That's fine, because it didn't matter to me as much after hearing why Rick wanted to know so badly. After Rick found out he had nothing to worry about, he admitted in the confessional that he now had to come clean about something. When Trisha stopped talking to him, he assumed she was with another man. Because of that, he got in contact with an ex who lived in Colombia, and made plans